Bingo. There we go. So how do you define success? This is what I want to talk about first. How do you define success when it comes to reality creation? All right. Oh, that's a good question. How to deal with the third party and SP and silence and rejection. Well, that's simply an affirmation of who you think you are, right? Let's talk about this. My bad. I had to get the charts back on so I can watch the market while we talk. When it comes to reality creation, you need to decide what success means to you. No one else can define what success means to you, right? It's like when we are young and we have conversations with our parents and they tell us, no, this is what you have to do to be successful. And then the teachers tell us, and then your boss at the job tells us, right? But how many of you truly know what you want in your life? Truly, right? Whether it's just the freedom to go and do whatever, what does that look like? What does that freedom look like? Is it a certain dollar amount? Is it just not having to check for money at all? What kind of experiences? What kind of love, right? When you define prosperity and success, what does it look like to you? Don't get caught in the trap of simply basing your definition of success on what the external world says, right? And why that's an important thing is because what that can lead us to doing is even trying to copy and paste other people's manifestations into our life, right? Okay. So let's give an example, right? Because I've been noticing this a lot lately. Let's say that you want to manifest your SP. Let's say you want to manifest a certain amount of money, and then you see somebody else that has made that happen in their life. And then immediately it's, what were you doing? What did you do? Right? How did you get that? Okay. And then what happens is we'll say, well, you know what? They did this. I've been doing that. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Or we'll say, well, maybe because my situation is a little bit differently, I can't do it the way that they did it. Right. So we constantly will base these stories that we tell on what we see outside of us. All right. When the only thing that actually matters is who we decide to be. All right. So I just want to preface this with that. Okay. Take time to actually focus on what you want in your life. Whether that's journaling it, meditating on it, sleeping on it, just thinking about it. Have you actually started to make your life about you? Have you started to draw out what prosperity really looks like? Because we can say prosperity, but to 100 people, prosperity can be different. Some of you may want to live lives of solitude. Some of you may want huge families. Some want to live in a city. Some want to be millionaires. Some want to just have enough. Some want to completely escape from the world of thinking about money at all, right? It's you, right? And until you can understand what these things mean to you, what prosperity means to you, what success means to you, we'll constantly be in positions where we're allowing other people to define that for us. Right? And is there truly satisfaction in that? Or are you just going to be a byproduct of someone else's dream? Okay, cool. All right, so how to deal with third parties, right? One thing that I will say, because we've been talking about specific people a lot. The term SP stands for specific person if you're new to this reality creation space. But it refers to when someone is trying to choose a different version of someone or create the experience of a relationship with somebody in their reality. I know as soon as I start answering one question, the floodgates open. So I want to start with this. You are bigger than that specific person. Okay, they're a fragment of you. They would not exist without you. They would not exist without you. Okay, you are the creator. You are the source of your reality. Right? However they show up is up to you. It's not up to them. It is up to you. When we flip this around and we make them the center of our reality, right? I'll know that this works when they show up. Right? I can finally be myself when they show up. I can finally feel love when they show up, right? I will say this again. When we do that, you are making them your God. Okay. Thinking about, okay, I have to deal with this circumstance a certain way just so she or he will walk back into your life. I have to affirm a certain way just so they can hear this affirmation and be moved by this affirmation and come back to me. I need to visualize this way, right? When you start doing that, making your entire life revolve around them, guess what? You are making them your God. You are placing your happiness, your fulfillment, your joy in the hands of another. And I'll say the same triggering thing that I constantly say. When you dreamed about relationships, when you were younger or maybe a year ago, when you started to figure out what you want, was your deepest desire to be sitting around trying to figure out how to manifest someone? Was your deepest desire saying, I hope I can find somebody that I just can try to manifest. I hope that I can find somebody that just, that I can sit around and affirm for all day. I hope I can find somebody that every time I see something outside, they trigger me and I have to do something to get them back. Was that your dream relationship scenario? Well, if you're honest with yourself, no. None of that was what you signed up for, right? So here's the next question. Would you rather be the one that person is trying to manifest? Or would you rather be the one that is trying to manifest the other person? Now, I'm not saying it because there's a right or wrong. I'm saying it because of the mindset behind it. Right? Don't get me wrong. You can choose and have and experience whoever you want, whatever version that you want. There's nothing off limits. But why I'm saying this is to push a mindset, okay? Do you truly believe that you are the center of your reality, or do you believe that they are? Have you made this about you, or is it about them? Who is source? Who is God? Who is the center? Who is the catch? Who is the prize? Is it you or is it them? Well, actions, right? Some of you could say, it's me. Of course it's me. It's me. But actions, your state of being proves otherwise. Right? Every other day, it's the same question about your SP. How do I deal with this? How do I deal with that? What about this? What about when I feel this? Or I feel so triggered. Every damn other day, it's another question. When will you stop trying to manifest them and just know that you are the person for them? When will you stop trying to find the magical witchcraft technique that brings them back into your arms and just know that you are everything that you desire to be and allow them to come back into you? Right? That's the question that comes down to. You can continue to try to get it. You can continue to try to say, oh, well, there's some information that I'm missing. Or you can simply decide to know that everything is working out. It's up to you. It's up to you, right? No one can walk you through that door. Somebody can open the door for you and point to it and say, it's nice over here, check this out. But you still have to walk through that door for yourself, okay? Yes, you still have to walk through it for yourself, okay? Out of love. So how do you deal with situations that are unfavorable? Let me ask y'all. Let's make this a little bit more interactive. How would you deal? You're trying to choose a different version of this person, right? And even trying is such a pathetic word, right? So you have chosen, you have decided who you are. Now, you're not trying to do shit. God's not trying to do anything. You simply choose what you want, okay? So you've chosen what you want. And now you're walking through life and the external reality doesn't look the way that you expect it to look. How do you handle that? How would y'all handle this? Okay? You've fallen in love with this specific person and you've decided that they are yours. And now you walk outside and you overhear a conversation where someone is telling you that your specific person was out on a beautiful date with someone else last night. How do you handle it? What do you do? What is the right thing to do? girl Sims with the gems. Sims with the gems. It's got a little ring to it. It's got a little ring to it on it. Make a decision and stick to it. The external is old news anyway. Exactly. Right? Here's the thing, y'all. It's what you do is irrelevant. Who are you being? What story are you telling in the midst of it? I don't care if you crash out. I don't care if you stay peaceful and zen like a Buddha. Don't care. Who are you being through it? Who have you decided? How have you decided to see that situation? What is the story that you're telling through that situation? That's what matters. Everything else is just flirting with circumstance. Flirting with circumstance doesn't change anything. Who you're being, who you are being, changes circumstance. Okay? It's identity first. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. My bad. I just accidentally hit the invite button. Somebody. You can we could all just as easily say, look at them. They can't get me off of their mind. And it's bothering them so much that they're trying to drown me out with other people. Good luck. You can't do it. Good luck. But you can't do it. Never will. Every single person is just bringing you closer to me. It's all part of the perfect unfolding. Right? Look at you. You can't stop thinking about me, trying to replace me, trying to distract yourself with all these other people. You could just as easily tell this story. However, what story are you truly telling? It's all a story, right? Life is imagination. You're simply walking through life as the vessel of God, exercising the word of God in your life, right? It's because it's all God. Okay, everything is made of the substance of God. And so you walk around with God dwelling within you. You walk around as God, the voice of God, and you simply are declaring things and organizing God in your life. So you could easily just say, he doesn't love me. She's such a whore. She's always with everybody. You could tell those pathetic stories. Or you can tell a more empowering story. You can make the decision on what it truly means and you can stick with that. Life is just a story. Because I know the pushback, right? But isn't that delusional? It's all delusional. What isn't delusional? What isn't delusional? What isn't your imagination? Sitting there thinking about how much they don't care about you, that's delusion as well. Sitting there and thinking about how much they do care about you, that's delusion as well. But the beautiful thing about it is, if it's all delusion, you're the only one narrating it anyway. Why not make the story beautiful? Why not make it beautiful and profound and perfect for you? You can do that. All right? Let them do what they're doing. Live and be faithful to my end. Exactly, right? I'm sovereign and nothing can go against me. Absolutely beautifully said. Absolutely beautifully said. Right? You are a sovereign being. You are the only creator in your reality. No one else has any power to do anything except for agree with you. The only power that anyone has outside of you is the power to agree with you. That's it. If you decide that they're a cheater, okay, let me go be that. If you decide they're absolutely faithful and in love with you, they say, okay, let me go be that. You get to choose. You always gets to choose. And you can do whatever you want on that unfolding. Okay? Whatever you want on that unfolding. Right? Back live again. I don't mind telling a great story. However, I want it in my reality right away. What's keeping it from being in your reality right away? Why are you telling the story that it doesn't show up right away? What is stopping y'all from seeing exactly what you decide right now? Who is the one that is saying that I like telling the story, but I just rather would experience right? Who is the one saying that? Time is difficult, and because you don't see it physically, I hear you, right? I was there as well, okay? And when we're so focused on trying to define and describe the external reality, well, of course we're gonna feel like we're lying. We're gonna feel like things take a lot of time. And then we see the external reality as against us. We see it as, oh man, like, I can't believe, like, it's just something that I have to survive to get to what I want. So I think Tom Karen says this the best, right? We treat the present moment like a placeholder. We sit in the present moment thinking about all the shit we could have done differently in the past. And then we think of the future and all the things that we want. And we just throw away the present moment when the only way that you can have something is have it now. So if I'm constantly telling a story of, oh, well, I like telling the stories, but I rather experience it. Well, allow yourself to experience it right now. Give yourself permission to actually experience what you want right now. And then allow it to unfold in your life from that point. But if I'm constantly telling this story or making this assumption that things take time, things aren't instant. Once it shows up, then I'll actually be fulfilled. Well, there's the reason right there that it's not showing up. Because you're making it conditional anyway. You're already everything that you want to be. Right? Even the concept of time, we believe that we're slaves to time. And time is something that we just have to endure. But time flows through you. You're the author of time. Nothing takes time. It takes awareness. It's your awareness that it takes time that makes it take more time. That was a bar. It's your awareness that things take a lot of time that makes them take a lot of time. It's your awareness that you don't have shit right now that keeps you in the cycle of not having it. It's your awareness that there's some external third dimensional reality that you have to just go through and survive and get beat up by along the way. Some of y'all getting uppercuts and haymakers by 3D. Oh, I don't like it. It's unfavorable. But it's your awareness on it that is keeping you in that same cycle. You can only have what you have right now. You can only have what you have right now. And if what you have right now is the awareness that you don't have what you want, well, guess what you have? You have what you don't have what you want. Yeah, for sure. I went through this phase. I went through the ask the same question in 18 different ways phase as well. No, they can't be the answer. It's got to be more than that, Alex. What do you mean just choose? It's just hard to be present. How do I be present? Yeah, I went through all of that. Right? Until I realized, damn, this is way easier than I thought. I just had to remember who I was. I simply had to choose and decide and be faithful to the story. Oh, I can do that. Yes, I've for sure been there. I think most people have, right? It's why I have so much. That's why I can, from my perspective, right? That is why I can enjoy the path with so much empathy and enjoy this teaching and these discussions that we have, and I can be patient. It's because I see, like I understand, right? I understand. And then Kelsey, what can you do to stay faithful to the story? Treat your story like a man that you want to be faithful to, right? You might think about cheating, just don't do it. Shit, you might think about something else happening, but just remember who you are, right? Just go back to the story that is yours. Just That's it. That's how you be faithful. Okay? I could be with a beautiful woman right now. Does it mean I'm never gonna think about another pair of ass cheeks? Probably not. I'm gonna think about them. I'm gonna see them. I'm gonna look. I'm gonna be tempted. The ego's gonna say, Alex, just one taste won't hurt. One dip in that butter almond milk won't hurt. But I make the decision not to do it. No, this is who I am. This is who I choose to be. That's it. That's how you stay faithful to it. You realize that you're not your thoughts. You're who you say you are. You who you decide to be. I can think about, well, what if this happens? Doesn't mean I have to be faithful to that story. Right? Doesn't mean I have to be faithful to that story. That butter, almond, pistachio milk, you know what I'm saying? With the cinnamon. Some of it got cinnamon sprinkles. If it got cinnamon sprinkles, it's a little hard for me to resist. You know what I'm saying? I love cinnamon. Right? But, I'm a man of discipline. Okay, I'm a man of discipline. For the most part. Right? That's when the spirit's stronger than the flesh, right? That's a bar right though. That's a bar right there. That's when the spirit's stronger than the flesh. Here's the thing. It always is. It always is. So, yes, I've been there. I've even been in that question, right? How do you stay faithful? How do I choose? Like, what is persistence? And I would try to break down persistence as if it was this daunting task of I can never think against what I want. Well, that in itself turned into a full-time job of me struggling against my own mind. With my own mind, this mechanism is just trying to protect me. So I'm literally walking around battling this ego. The ego doesn't create anything. It just tells stories to try to protect me from things that I've experienced in the past. Is that bad? I don't think so. I used to think that it was a negative thing. Like, I have to fight against the old story. And I don't have to fight against shit. I've already decided who I am. I have already decided who I am. And that was enough. The thoughts will flow. Emotions flow. That's just part of the journey. Right? And if those emotions or those thoughts simply point to a story that I don't want to experience anymore, I can remind myself of the truth right now. Right now, because right now is all that matters. All my past lives, all the past versions of me, all the future lives, future versions of me are all existing right now. Right? They're all just one on top of the other, just stacked. So right now I can make a decision and say, no, this is who I am. And it does not just change the future, it changes the past as well. This is why you can get your heart broken and you can lay on the floor, you can be in the bathroom throwing up, crying, saying, why, God, did you take them away? I love them so much, bring them back, right? And then 3 years later, you can end up with somebody that you perceive as better. And you can say, thank God I went through that situation. Did the situation change? Well, metaphysically, yes, it did. To the human mind, no, it didn't. Right? From a human perspective, no. But because I have changed right now, I see things differently. When you think that you are prosperity, all of a sudden you look back and you're like, man, everything happened for a reason. I could just see. When you look around and you feel broken leg, you're like, bro, man, fuck, everything's always against me. Same shit. You're just a different person. You're taking a different perspective. Right? This is the whole concept of revision. There's only the current moment. Nothing in the past exists. The past are just thoughts. You've never lived in the past. You've only lived in this present moment. If you take a new perspective right now, you change the past and the future. Right? Now, we do this all the time. We just don't really think about it. Two people can go to the same event. 3 years later, 4 years later, they can talk about it. One remembers that it was sunny. The other one's like, no, hell no, it was raining. One said they were wearing this. The other one said, no, you were wearing that. Some parts of the story, somebody doesn't even remember. They're like, bro, I don't remember that shit at all. Other parts you see perfectly eye to eye on. What is this a product of? We'll say, well, it's just memory, yada, yada. No. You're always revising. You're always telling the story of what things are based on who you are. There's certain things that when you change your perspective, you're going to forget about them. They're going to cease to exist. They're going to dissolve into the infinite possibilities within you and change. Have you ever had a situation, any of y'all SP people, I've had this happen all the time, where I would choose a different version of someone and a seeming event that happened, because I have persisted in the story that it didn't happen, they will forget about it. Or they'll act like it never happened. And say, oh, well, they're just avoiding. No. This is not that. This is this person that's completely for this situation ceased to exist. Because it can't, because what happened could not exist in this new identity of them. So it evaporates into nothingness. Another way to say that possibility, that one of infinite outcomes no longer exists within me. So it can't exist outside of me because they're just a fragmented projection of me. All right? It's like the more that you believe that somebody is sneaking around and doing something, all of a sudden they start becoming more and more sneaky. All of a sudden you try to shop for a car and you find a beautiful red car. Now all of a sudden you see that same red car. What just happened here? What just happened? It's all confirmation bias, Alex. That's what psychology says, confirmation. Cognitive, the reticular activating system, right? Okay, sure. Those are human ways to try to explain what is beyond our comprehension. But when you change your perspective, you simply change realities. You open your mind. You can't see what you're not aware of. You can only see what you're aware of. So if I'm aware that things take a long time, guess what? Time is going to become a fucking annoying ass sluggish cockroach, just crawling and barely moving. But when I realize or come into the realization that everything happens immediately, bingo, game changes. It's all about you. It's not about anybody else. It's not about time. There's nothing outside of you. There's only the stories in your head. Who is telling the story about it takes time? Who's telling the story? Well, it's just difficult when I don't see it. Well, what about when these things happen outside of me? Who's telling those stories? Nobody is whispering in your ear. Okay? You're the only one narrating. We're all the only ones narrating our story. Okay? What it do, Genesis? People are so caught up with the information, perceiving through the senses, forgetting the very fact that they are awareness, right? This is all you are. It's pure awareness. Right now, if you close your eyes, you can still perceive everything that's around you. You look around at the room, you close your eyes. It's like it's beyond just. It's a sensing of them. You can still feel where things are in space, even though when you close your eyes, your conscious they don't exist anymore. That's just your consciousness creating for you. Right. This is the same way that when you go into a dream, right, everything seems real, right? Until you get into a fight, you start fighting somebody, you hitting them like, why isn't it hurting them? All right. But it feels real. The whole place, it feels real, but it's just your consciousness. And then you wake up into another dream and your consciousness builds this. We get so caught up in the external world, on the concept of time, the clock ticking. But God knows no time. God's not bound to time. The source within you is not bound to time. Time is a story. Time is a story that we tell to make sense of our progression or our switching between different perspectives. When we say time is an illusion, time is an experience. It's just not what it seems to be. You're not bound by it. It's the experience of you. Someone who believes it takes no time receives things quickly. Someone who says, well, it takes a lot of time, right? Eventually it'll all work out one day in the future. Who knows? it takes more time for them because time is a product of your consciousness, your awareness. You're not bound by it. Okay? Stories again and again. We got to make the choice, got to decide. We believe more in what we ain't than in what we are. Another bar. Another bar. Another effing bar right there, right? It's all imagination, but we will sit there and dwell on the things that we don't want more than dwelling on the things that you do want. It begs the question, do you actually really want it? Well, it's so difficult to just tell the story of what I don't want. Or it's so difficult to tell the story of what I want. I remember being in that same place and finally asking myself, why? Why is it so much easier for me to tell the story of what I don't want all the time? Why is it so much easier? Why do I believe I have to fight to tell the good story? Why? Well, we can talk about programming and all these things, of course, right? Which we have. But now that I'm aware of it, is it a matter of reprogramming anything, or is it just a matter of me making a choice right now? So time is another thing which gets most of our attention, but we have only now, then create whatever shit one wants now, right? Yeah, you've only experienced now. We've only lived right now. You've never lived in the past or the future. Never will live in the past or the future. We can only live right now. We can only live right now. Oh, let me plug this in, y'all. 1 second. Don't get it. Got some shit uploading over here. There we go. So I like that. We're gonna read all of that. That's beautiful. Okay. We need to realize that there is nothing else but I am. Okay. There's nothing else besides I am. Besides awareness. Besides what you say you are. Nothing else. Okay. I am requires nothing. Just accept that you are. Even while wavering, emotions, thoughts, conditions, they mean nothing, right? Just stick to your truth. Persistence is just another word for choice or decision. That's it. That's it. Being persistent is making the same decision or choice over and over and over. That's it. That's what persistence is. It's making the same choice over and over and over. I persist in making the choice that I am everything I say I am. That's it. Okay? That's it. I am no longer the character. I am no longer the character nor the story. I simply am. You're not anything that's temporary. You're not it. You're not the circumstances. You're not the emotions. You're not the thoughts. You simply are. You are the isness. That's it. You are the isness. You get to decide who you are in every moment. Very liberating. Extremely liberating. What's up? I want trying to manifest dream body, doesn't the external circumstances like food dictate the body? Yeah, if you believe so, right? So I'm going to put it like this. There's only one substance in this universe, okay? And that substance is source, right? We believe in this omnipresent God. God is everything. The universe is everything. Source is everything. So source is just as much in these car keys as source is in this chair, as source is in the apple, as source is in the butter cream cake, right? In the motherfucking, whatever you like to eat. Source is just as much in all those things. Now, us as humans, what we'll do is we divide God up to make more sense of it. The same way that we divide up a mind, it will say subconscious, superconscious, unconscious, right? And then we'll, take the same approach with the periodic table. We've divided all of those things. But the commonality in all of those things is that it's all made of the one substance, right? God, consciousness, all right? Now, we can't say that our beliefs create reality and then say, well, only in certain things and not the other. Can't do that. Now, this is the placebo effect in motion, where people are sick. They might have cancer, they might have all kinds of different ailments, and they get a fake pill. And all of a sudden they heal themselves miraculously because they made the choice that what they were consuming would fix them. This is the same way that we make a choice with what we eat. What is more powerful? Is it the food or the beliefs? Let's say that right now you decide to be very extremely disciplined with the choice of food. Well, that discipline isn't for nothing, right? You start telling a different story about what you're eating. You start saying, okay, this is going to get me in shape, right? When I eat this, right, the body fat will melt off. The muscles will get larger. I'll have all this, the protein to make the muscles, whatever the case may be. But we always are telling stories with the food we eat, right? Especially the more conscious you are about food. So the more conscious we are or aware we are, the more stories we're just telling, right? Now, when we eat things that we perceive as not good for us, we tell a story about them as well. We start saying, oh, this is going to make me big. I got to work this off. I got to do this. I got to do that. It's still a story. So I'm still breathing life into whatever I'm consuming. Okay. Now remember, these discussions are simply to push us. It's simply to open your mind to what's possible. It's not to say that you have to just drop everything and start, just eating whatever. Well, you don't have to pick up any of these beliefs at all, right? But when you start going down this rabbit hole and studying things, right? I've had clients that have changed their body and decided I'm not changing shit about my food or what I eat. I'm just going to make the decision that everything that I eat gives me my dream body. And lo and behold, all the changes show up. A couple of y'all, even in this chat, have said the same thing, right? I just decided to drink water. Every time I drank water, I was like, hey, look, I'm getting fine. What is more important is the actual food? Well, the food is just the substance. The food is just God. Then we tell a story. We associate a story. So everything is meaningless. When we say everything is meaningless, that means everything is meaningless. Not just certain things. It's all consciousness. Right? What is the exception to that rule? There is none. There can't be any. Or else all that there is wouldn't be all that there is. It would just be some of what there is. Okay? We can't say that God is all that there is. That your words create reality. That your story is creative, and then say, unless we're talking about that cheesecake, unless we're talking about that grits, right? So it's about the perspective that you take. Exactly. So if you associate a healthy perspective to an unhealthy food, it becomes healthy. Yes, and we do this unconsciously all the time, because I remember even when I was eating clean, I would have quote unquote cheat days. And even on the cheat days, I would make up my mind, this is not finna do shit. What I eat is not gonna do shit. And then the cheat day would turn into a cheat 2. Maybe a cheat 3 day, a cheat half a week, right? But it didn't do anything because of the belief about it. So if you want to eat clean because it makes you feel good, cool, go do that, right? But I'm just pointing us to the fact that our belief is the primary thing that's creating. It's the primary thing that's creating. Okay. You get to choose to say, every bite, everything that I eat is getting me more and more healthy. Or to say, shit, I've been eating this, I probably got high blood pressure. When I go get this blood work, it's probably gonna come back looking crazy. And lo and behold, you're proven right. Right? It's still all you. It's still all you. But you do need weights for muscle though. I don't know. How'd your ancestors build muscle, Liz? They weren't in the gym. They weren't in the gym. How them big ass orangutans get muscles? They not in the gym. Miss Sheesh, what meaning would you like to associate with that? And what's stopping you from associating that meaning to it? All right. I'm getting tougher and tougher with you because you seem to be asking questions from the same perspective as if you're searching for meaning outside of yourself instead of you being the one that grants it meaning. And you know better than that, right? Simply assign it meaning. It can mean whatever you want it to mean. See, even that's a story, people realize you're forgetful. Says who? You're the only one saying that. You don't know what they think. You're just telling a story. Appreciate you, Shelly. Right? None of us have crawled into anybody's mind. We're just giving a perspective. Right? Even when I'm reading this and I'm like, this is probably what you mean. It's just my assumption, right? And big old orangutans, man, build them big ass muscles, big ass apes and gorillas and shit. All that muscle. Ain't lifted a single weight. But they're gorillas, they're monkeys, Alex. Of course. That's a belief there as well. Exactly, brother. Your proof that your physical body is changing should be internal, not the mirror. And when you decide, that's when it changes anyway. This is what happens anyway when we get on a workout. When we start working out hard, we make the choice up here that it's going to pay off. Then when we stop, we make the choice up here that all the muscles is going to fade away. It's always an internal choice before it's external. Yeah, reprogramming the subconscious is for people that don't want to decide right now. It's already fixed. It's already fixed. You didn't mess anything up. It's already done. It's already fixed. What would I say to someone who only believes in science? I would say you're allowed to have that perspective, right? I wouldn't be trying to convert anyone, right? What you believe is what you believe. I simply have one perspective of God. I have one perspective of all that there is. And there's 8 billion of us. We all have a different perspective. Our life is a byproduct of our perspective. We all live different lives, different bodies, have different beliefs when it comes to prosperity, all these things. So who am I to speak as if, I'm telling the eternal truth of what you should believe? I'm simply giving my perspective and hoping that it helps anybody else that you know, that it resonates with. But I believe you have the right to believe in whatever. Or if you want to believe in only science, that's fine. Okay. And I simply have to make the decision on if that makes sense for me. Somebody can hear what I'm saying, they can say, here he goes again. Well, let me get up out of here. Right? That's their choice. That's their choice. So I wouldn't think anything of it. I wouldn't think anything of it. Remember, y'all, why I say that is because I understand our intentions for the people that we love are noble to us. Me believing or me saying right now, okay, hear this, right? Me saying, my mother, is sick, or my SP is going through this, or my son is, going through this, or my saying that, okay, and then thinking, how can I help them? And believing, well, if they knew about this, they could change their reality. It's noble. The same way that if someone, was a Christian or they were in the church and they thought, well, if Alex believed that there was a heaven and hell and he accepted, this belief, then he would be saved for all eternity. The noble thing from both of our perspectives would be what? Conversion therapy. We finna all have a big ass intervention. We're gonna be interventioning each other. Okay? So it seems noble, right? It is from our perspective. But when it comes to this reality creation, one thing that I really had to realize was you don't have to buy into what I believe for me to help you get what you want, right? I get to, because I am the God of my reality, I don't have to sit around and debate you about your beliefs. I can just simply decide to see you having the life that you desire, to see you as perfect, and so it is. That's it. That's the magic right there. The magic is not in me, trying to change you and arguing and wrestling with you. Waste of time. From my perspective, it's a waste of time. Right? My power is just in choosing the version of you that I want to experience, and then flowing with the whatever and enjoying the journey with you. Okay. Love you, Leslie. Love you, Leslie. You know that, right? But I'm not just talking about you. I'm talking about, everybody. All right? I'm talking about everybody. I don't call y'all out unless, okay, I do call y'all out. Let me not make that story up. I do call y'all out, for sure. I call y'all out of love, though. But no, that wasn't calling you out, though. That was not calling you out. Because I did the same thing. I remember first getting on this journey with my mom, right? When we first found out she had cancer, I remember being like, all right, Mom, do you want to fucking heal? Well, then think positive, damn it. But just doing that was me denying her the ability to have her experiences. She could have her experiences, and I can simply choose to see her as perfect. Boom. Kill two birds with one stone. Even though that's a very shitty analogy or metaphor, right? Kill two birds with one stone. Who was the first person to say that shit? Like, damn, with a stone, bruh? Anyways, trying to get better at communicating my ideas fluently. What would be the advice? I love this question. I like to step into my practical bag sometimes, right? Because I could metaphysically just say, well, assume that you are a good communicator, right? And I will do that. I will say that first and foremost. But if you want practical steps, I have a couple of things that helped me, because I used to speak with a stutter. Sometimes I still kind of stumble around and stutter around, right? But I do it with just so much charisma. Why? Because that's the story that I believe that I live by, right? So what helped me is this. I used to read books, and I would start reading books out loud. Game changer. Reading a book in your head, listening to an audiobook is one thing. But picking up a book and reading it out loud, It'll help you tremendously. Another thing, poetry. Reading poetry, listening to poetry. It's going to get you a little better with your words, right? Smoother with your words, right? You're going to find it'll start positioning words in your mind that you want to start using together. All right, poetry helps as well. And we can talk about communication on multiple fronts, right? Because the way that I communicate on these discussions is going to be different than the way that I, if I'm one-on-one with a woman, the way that I would communicate. Right? If I'm out with my homeboys, the way that I communicate with them, right? So it's different matching the setting. So poetry helps when it comes to being a little bit more poetic, which can keep people's attention, right? And it still bleeds out to me, right? We still do poems every once in a while. Even the documents that I upload, they're written in a very poetic way, right? Because that wording seems to captivate and keep our attention, especially when it comes to the metaphysical. All right. So those are two things that I would definitely recommend. It's number one, reading out loud. Like, try it out. Just read out loud for a little bit every day, and see if that doesn't help you articulate cleaner. And then poetry. Whenever I was trying to do it, I would have people that recommended certain things, like Toastmasters, but I never did that. Oh, just try public speaking. I don't really want to do that. But now I do it. Like, whenever I used to go live, I would be nervous before I hit the live button. Oh shit, what am I going to talk about? What if I forget what I'm saying? Now I don't even think. I'm just like, I feel like going live. Let me just prop this phone up here, hit the live button, boom, and we're rolling. All right. So you do get better over time, but first of all, go to the assumption that everything gets me better at speaking. Boom. Go to that assumption. And then from there, if you want to do practical steps, cool. If you want to allow it to unfold for you, cool. You don't have to do anything, but I would highly recommend reading out loud in poetry. Yeah. I appreciate you, Cynthia. Thank you. Thank you, Goddess. In poem recommendations, I used to just read random, like, spoken word on YouTube. I would go to YouTube and read spoken word. Or I would go to bookstores and I would just I didn't buy them. I would just pick up the books, like poetry books, and read them. Okay. Conversation is important. So the more that you can read out loud, you start doing poetry, it starts giving you these different words that you start implementing in your day to day. It's powerful because communication is a superpower. To be able to take what's going on up here, right, and line it up for somebody and give it to them, it's a superpower. All right. To be able to articulate something in a way that makes people say, oh, okay, you're right. It's a gift, but it's a skill that can be practiced. It can be learned, right? I consider myself a pretty good communicator these days. I haven't always considered myself that. In fact, if you had known me 5 years ago, 4 years ago, I would consider myself more of an introvert. Right? I was really whenever I would go places, I rarely spoke. Very, very rarely spoke. But all of that changes in the blink of an eye with the decision to change how I identify myself. And so it is, Miss KJX. So it is. It's done. Glad you said that about profession. I'm gonna start teaching 2020, whatever next year is, next fall. Start teaching. I'm gonna do some adjunct work, just because it'd be fun. Just 'cause it'd be fun to teach. All right, in a situation where you did something you felt you could have done better, how do I deal with doubt? Well, I realized that version of me did the best that it could. I can't change the past, right? And yeah, I could say that I wish I had done better, but let's be very, very honest with ourselves, okay? The version of me that I was a year ago, 10 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago, right? I could say something and then I could catch myself and say, I could have said it better. Well, the version of me 10 seconds ago that said it was doing their best. They did the best they could to articulate that in that moment. The version of me 5 years ago did the best they could with that woman. Huh? I might think that I could do better, but I don't really know that. I simply know how I feel from this perspective of who I am right now. That version of me is still perfect. It's a perfect version of the wholeness of me. So when we get caught up in trying to, quote unquote, change the past, instead of choosing who we're going to be right now, we get caught up in the time loop where we're constantly comparing ourselves to the past, trying to do things like trying to beat up on that past version of you when that past version of you was perfect. So it's about accepting of myself, all right? What I did back then was perfect for right then, even though I could judge it however I want. But I don't really know who I was then. I was a different person. The only thing that I have control over is who I am right now in this moment. And then you move forward with that knowing. And then what do I do in a normal day? Oh, wake up, work out, meditate, do some writing, trade, get in the market or not, visit my parents, do these live streams, then do whatever I want, right? I have 2 motorcycles, I ride them. I work out, I go for walks, I go for runs. Shoot, I like to cook. Just depends. Basically, I do whatever I feel like doing, moment to moment, right? So no, I don't have a extremely spiritual, life. Right? Some people would think that, I meditate most of the day and I make sure that I rinse off my crystals and nah, I have beers and go out and speak to beautiful women if I see them. Right? I have a FZ10, a Yamaha FZ10, and then I have a Honda CB500. The FZ10 is 1,000. Well, it's like 998 cc. So that was my dream bike for a while. This is my second one. The first one was stolen. The first one got stolen in my apartment, so I bought a new one. But yeah, I got the full exhaust. I got the ECU flashed on it. That bike is a monster. It is a wheelie machine. Are there truly things that are out of our control? What things look like during the unfolding is out of our control, right? We can't control what things look like during the unfolding. But other than that, no. You always control your perspective. Your perspective controls reality. You get to decide how everything ends up. Yeah. Is anybody watching the market right now? If you were in a long, I'm sorry. Because these last 3-minute candles just clapped some cheeks on the way down. God damn. I love seeing I guess it's like the only time that I actually like seeing a BBC, a big black candle. Did news come out or something? News must have came out or something. I don't even affirm. I don't even affirm for anything. I just walk around knowing that I'm the fulfillment, knowing that I'm God, and my knowing is that my desires are the fulfillment. So why do I have to affirm? Why do I have to visualize it? If Source wants it through me and I'm the embodiment of Source, then there's no need for me to do anything except for know that everything's done. Right? I take this verse literally that says, seek ye first the kingdom and then all things will be added to you. It doesn't say seek ye first the perfect affirmation. and then all things will be added to you. It doesn't say seek ye first the subconscious control of your mind, or see. Damn, these candles are massive. Where is the market reaching? I'm so tempted. I'm so tempted to engage with this, but it's moved too much so far. It's moved too much already. I know. I wasn't saying that you said that you affirm. I was just explaining what I do. I was just answering the question. Manifestation is instant because who I am is omnipresent. I mean, you can say that, sure. Think of it like this, right? Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to find this key level. This moved too much for me to get in. Anyways, this moved way too much for me to get in now. But is manifestation instant because you are omnipresent? Sure, we could say that. We could say that. Let's think about it like this, right? Manifestation is instant because omnipresent is just God is everywhere. Beyond that, God is everything. It's okay. If you think of the concept of source, we'll say source is infinite intelligence. God is everything. Okay? What does that mean? That means every version of you in this life and every single past life exists right now. Everything exists right now. Okay? Every life, every love, every heartbeat, every timeline exists within you right now. Every single person outside of you exists within you right now. So all of eternity is just collapsed within you right now. This is the infinite. This is all that there is. Okay? And because everything is within you, by taking a different perspective, it's like you're drip feeding yourself from the ocean of eternity. And every single moment you're getting a drop. Every perspective you take is another drop of eternity. So yeah, it's instant because you instantly decide who you are, and that version of you unfolds from within you instantly. It instantly changes. Appreciate you, Glow. It's a great question. Appreciate you, Glow. I said it was gonna be this weekend. It's not gonna be this weekend. I wouldn't do you that last minute. It'll probably be the 30th. Only the thoughts I'm entertaining say I am not. Yeah, for sure. Right? Like, we are the only ones that say I am not. Right? And the thoughts show up all the time. But who are you being? Which ones are you identifying with? What are we talking about today? Whatever. We're talking about whatever. What do I believe happens after death? Well, several things. It's always interesting to me though why I'm laughing is not because I don't have an opinion or a perspective, but I talk about the things that I experience in this life with conviction because, I've experienced them, right? I haven't experienced that physical transition. So I love hearing other people talk about their physical transitions because to me it's like we talk with so much conviction about it, but it's something that some of us remember, but a lot of us don't. Okay, so we were boycotting Disney. I don't know. All right. I'm in the world. I'm not of it. I'm in the world. I'm not of it. In my reality, I haven't boycotted anything. Okay. So what I believe is there's a law of resonance, right? So there's several things that can happen. Here's the thing, right? We can't say our beliefs create reality and say except after death, right? So you can still create experiences of what happened, right? Now, you do have laws like a law of resonance, okay? And the law of resonance basically says when you pass, what is your primary belief, okay? Let's say that you're on your deathbed and you're looking around and you're saying, man, all these people been holding me back. This woman I married, she been holding my ass back. I should have experienced so much more, but if it wasn't for her ass trapping me, right? Well, you're probably resonating on a level where, on a soul level, you're gonna be like, oh well, maybe I need to experience something a little bit similar so I can get through that. All right, so that's a possibility. Now you also have choices: come back or repeat, or come here, or go somewhere else. So there's a whole slew of things that can happen. But will we ever know for sure, 100%? Perhaps not. All right. Perhaps. Been with this woman since I was 18. She done trapped me with these 3 kids. God damn. Can't wait to get out of here. Can't wait to get out of here and get away from her. Take me now, Lord. Like Maria said, are you a millionaire? We got the IRS in this. I didn't know we had the IRS in here trying to do an audit. Are you a millionaire? Why? You want to see my tax statements? You can't have them. You can't have them. What is the moment that I knew this was all within? There wasn't a moment. There wasn't a moment. I think I've always been pulled towards that realization from a child. But I will tell y'all that, kind of to briefly summarize, there was an experience that, so I was in a fire like in 2014. And in that experience, I was in the hyperbaric chamber, right? And when I was in that hyperbaric chamber, it was just pumping me with oxygen. And when I was getting pumped with oxygen, I started remembering things that I had experienced before. So it was always a knowing that God was within me, but I didn't really accept it as true. Maybe a couple years ago, 3-4 years ago, right? But I've always been in the journey of knowing, of questioning things outside of me, of knowing that, well, I'm the one that's walking around here and making stories and saying that things are this way or that way. It's me, right? So that's always been a knowing. So I can't say that it was. I say all that to say I can't say it was a specific moment. I know some people do have these beautiful moments where they just wake up to it. I didn't have that. Didn't have that at all. So maybe if the brain stops working, does that mean that my ego dies and I move? Maybe. I get a little careful when we start talking about that because, maybe. maybe, right? And also, y'all remember, there's multiple ways that you can leave this vessel, right? You can have an experience and pass, but there's also different ways where, a new soul can enter this vessel. So if you've ever Been driving your car, and all of a sudden you just zone out, right? And you wake up and you slam on the brakes, and you're like, oh shit, if I had kept going, that would have been it. Well, let's play a game. Okay? Let's play a game. Let's say that was it. Let's say that you didn't wake up and boom. All right? Now, on a soul level, you would still have a choice to make. You want to come back? And if you do, then you could get put just in a very close timeline that mirrors that timeline very, very closely. Okay? And then you would just wake up right before the moment, and you would be jarred back into consciousness, and you would slam on the brakes, and you would be like, oh shit, I don't know what happened. Okay? Now let's say that you don't want to. Fuck that. I'm out of here. Had enough. And let's say that another soul is like, hey, look, I can do that. Keep in mind, these are all concessions because everything is you, right? So another soul could decide, hey, no, this would be cool for me to take on this experience from this point, and a soul can enter you at that point as well. So enter itself at that point as well, because his body's not you. So there are multiple. We can look at the whole death experience and the transferring of souls experience from lots of different perspectives. Lots of different perspectives. No, they're not scouting me. Exactly. We all exist in infinite reality. I'm getting tired. Getting tired of talking, y'all. Anybody else want to talk for me? If not, I'm going to go on and end this one. I'll probably be back on this evening. It is Friday. I might not be back on this evening. That's what you were about to say, Mason? No, I don't get tired of saying the same things. If I was tired of saying the same things, I wouldn't have a YouTube. I would not have a TikTok if I wasn't tired of saying the same thing. That's all I do is say the same shit from a different perspective. Let me try this perspective. You know what I'm saying? Let me try that perspective. Well, let me try this one right here. You know, this one will really get them right here. All right. So that's all it is. Cool. Was there just some kind of war announcement going on? Because the market went down. I mean, it went down not too much. But these candles do look fucking massive. Let's have a chart session. Yeah, these candles look ridiculous. Look at this shit. Look at this. This is the drop I was talking about. It cleared this low. It cleared this low. But it still has room to go lower. Yeah, if we go to like the 4 hour. We're still just in this block. I wouldn't actually be. Here's the thing, like because we're so high, I wouldn't be. It would be very difficult for me to buy into a short unless the market. I mean, look at this. Like, what structure would the market have to break for you to be like, yeah, I could see us entering a bear market for a while? This low? Hell no. That's just a retrace to go higher. This low? I think that's even just a retrace to go higher. People might freak out here. This low? Well, there's two equal lows. This could be it. The market would have to do something very dramatic for me to be like, oh shit, something's happened and the market is turned around. All right. It'd have to be very, very dramatic. A dramatic move. And that's the 4 hours. What's the daily look like? Yeah, it's so like eat on the minute chart, right? That move looks so dramatic. But is it? It happened quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes. A 6-minute move. But I mean, it's not bigger than this leg up. So now if it just drops and falls through the floor for the rest of the day and over the weekend, sure. But this right here, like these, when I see moves like this, I think it's a trap, right? Because anybody chasing this, let's say you chase this shit, you're like, oh my God, it's dropping, and you get in too late, and now this move just clapped you. You just got clapped by this move, and now you're hopeful. You're hopeful. So maybe it drops, maybe it just stays in this range. But actually, this was that, it actually did go to that opening price, though. It was a retrace to that. So if we look at like this opening price, it did go there. It just painted outside the lines a little bit. It didn't even paint outside the lines a wick. It just wicked it and then bounced it. So if there's a reaction to go higher, I could see there being a reaction and send us up. I could also see there being a reaction. Anyways, long story short, basically I'm just speculating at this point. I'm just saying a whole bunch of speculation at this point. I gotta start trying to give me compliments off these fake pages like this. You start asking me questions like that, you gotta at least have a profile picture. That's why you so handsome. Why are you on a fake page? Who are you? Who the hell are you? Right, reveal yourself. That's what they all say. I'm not fake. You can trust me. You might be a 40-year-old man getting off the flirting with people on the internet. Show ass out of it. Right. But anyways, love y'all. Okay. Love y'all. Talk to y'all. Maybe this evening, maybe not. We shall see. Right. Yeah, I'm not convinced. You're not convinced. You're not convincing me. I'm gonna need to see a driver's license for your ass. I need a driver's license. I need bank card. Make sure to send the front and the back picture of the bank card, please, and the Social Security. If you send me that, then I'll believe. Then I'll believe you, right? So ID, Social Security, bank card, front and back. Then I'll believe you, right? You got it. Send it to my DM right now. All right. Peace, y'all. Y'all have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. And we'll talk again either tonight or tomorrow morning. All right. Love y'all. Peace.